freaking weeks. Holy mother of misery. 2 freaking weeks. It has both flown by and crawled like a dying old man across a yoga mat in speed. It's so weird how the days seem to fly by and then I don't know, was it the days drag on and the weeks fly by? It's like, it's a weird, that weird sort of like, hopefully nearing the end of COVID stuff. So, hello, gorgeous bodybuilder. Yeah, that's me, Mary Lou. Thank you. Megan, how are you? Who else we got here? Marcos, how are you, Marcos? I'm just going to drink my delicious creamy coffee. It's so bad for me and so good. What tea you drinking? No tea today, Megan. Hello, Crazy Nut Denmark, Sean, Dr. McKay's for Gaming, dude named Clem. Hello, dude named Clem. Dave's the dude, I like that one. Fox Girl, oh my God, what's going on? Michael, Tobias, Sherry, Lyons, I missed someone. And Aaron, Janine, Fox Girl, did I get Fox Girl? Dave's the dude, I got that one. Oh my gosh, everybody. Iron Ham, what are you doing here, Iron Ham? You're supposed to be in school. Worst parent ever. 2 freaking weeks. I've been doing this for 2 weeks now. And so now what? I'm fit. I could stop, right? That's the end of it? I can just stop now? Is that how this works? Oh, now he's giggling at me. Oh, Iron Ham. Actually, Iron Ham's been great because he's actually joined me for a few of these now and again. And it makes a big difference. It sort of speeds it up. I got to say, today was horrible. Absolutely horrible. I'm struggling to pick up this large mug of coffee with really unhealthy cream in it. I put cream in it. I was like, screw this. I can't have a donut because I don't have one. So I'm going to put cream in my coffee. Oh, I haven't lost a pound. No. If anything, I probably gained. I mean, this is the weird thing is I think, well, first off, I like to think that muscle weighs more than fat. I doubt that's the case. I've not even been worrying about weight. I've just thought, you know what? I just want to be slightly fit. Just slightly, that's all. Just like I say, just one portion of Jewel State's abs. That's all I need. That would make me happy. Cheat meals are important. Look at The Rock. I know The Rock. Oh my God. The problem is I only tune into The Rock when he's doing the feasting. I never watch the exercise stuff. I only watch him when he's eating like 50,000 donuts and stuff. And, oh man. Bonjour, Francine. Carissa, good morning. Michael, what is it? Muscle? Does it weigh? It does weigh, doesn't it? It does weigh more. It's more dense. Yeah. I mean, I was sort of joking, but I thought that was probably the case. Honestly, I mean, I should really do the before and after photos, but I just can't, I can't bring myself to do it. I just don't feel like I'm ever going to be that person. Okay, what do you got? Have I missed things? What have I missed? Emperador, how are you? I'm good. Question of the day. What do you prefer, Star Trek or Star Wars? Oh, I mean, I grew up with Star Trek was on television. I loved Star Trek, but although I was definitely more of a Doctor Who fan sort of growing up, Star Wars was just, I think they're completely different things. I mean, I don't think they're both science fiction. I think Star Wars, when it was worth watching, and now that it's worth watching with Mandalorian again, was science and is science fantasy, if that makes sense. Whereas I believe Star Trek is science fiction, is true science fiction. If you go back to that original definition when they were first creating the genre, I feel like Star Trek is exploring, the science of the future, whereas Star Wars is just fantasy. I mean, I freaking love it, but it's just escapist fantasy. Whereas I find Star Trek far more, it makes you think more. I feel it deals with more interesting concepts. It's more cerebral, basically. I would say, Star Wars is really all about is about sort of escapism, whereas Star Trek, I think, really focuses, like, drills down on some interesting and important scientific and societal questions. So I really can't. I don't think I could choose the two. I don't think I could have one without the other, honestly. So, but great question, very good question. Well, so that's so funny. Soma Bruft. I would say. I mean, I would say that definitely Star Wars became space opera when it did all the ones that I don't tell my son about, the middle ones, the ones the all I don't even want to know what they try to call them, all that nonsense with the metachlorians and all that. That to me that was space opera. When I think of space opera, I think of Battlestar, like Battlestar Galactica, because I felt like that was beautiful but ridiculously huge emotional stuff. I mean, that to me was a space opera. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like Star Wars is more fantasy. When I think of soap opera when I think of space opera, and I feel like the great thing about Battlestar Galactica was those characters, these amazing characters, and this sort of this whole concept of of this infiltration of technology and stuff. So stop playing around, Rodney. We will be culled if you don't hurry. Yeah, no kidding. All right, right. Okay, great. Writing Bandits was fantastic. I hope David continues with these. I was taking notes as James Key was talking and sharing so much wisdom and knowledge. Oh, fantastic, Tammy. I'm so glad. I'm actually uploading it to YouTube as we speak, so it may have even have popped up by now, but I've uploaded the chat. I freaking loved that. I loved it. And weirdly, Jimmy was a little bit more subdued even than he normally is, which is hilarious to think. But I want to bring him back. I think we should have more discussions like this. And if he doesn't want to, then I'm going to do it again, because I think writing is something that it just speaks to a lot of people. I feel like everyone, I feel like I'm allowed to talk about it because I've done a little bit of it. I don't really feel like I'm an expert in any way, nor should anyone take my advice. I can only sort of offer what has sort of worked for me in the past. But I would love you to talk to Seth Worley, and I'm going to bug Seth Worley about that because I think he would be a great person to talk to. Again, I feel like not everyone wants to be like a professional writer. I think they want to write, and I think Seth has a great understanding and experience with these beautiful short films that he's made, and is now working towards feature films. And he's got this story clock system, which I just think is really exciting for people to look at. So online Stargate convention next week. Woohoo! Well, we're doing one now. This is okay. So no one asked me. I'm going to tell you anyways. So my thoughts on the online convention thing is just that I feel like it just gets in the way of this. I feel it's just someone standing between this process and everybody. I'm a control freak, I guess. I would rather just handle all this stuff myself. I could not possibly put together a live convention, so I am happy to attend those when that works and when my brain and all of my insecurities and stuff align with going to those things. Something that I've found as I've got older is my sort of the underlying anxiety that I've always had and I've always sort of struggled with has become much, much more pronounced. My sort of social anxiety and stuff it became so bad that my amazing wife talked me into going to see someone about it, because she was just worried. I was just getting so incredibly stressed and angry and grumpy about stuff, and I knew it was happening, and I'd always been able to manage it myself. I'd always just handled it myself, and looking back, I hadn't. I just hadn't. I wasn't handling it at all. I thought I was handling it. I just the way I am. It's not though. So so some of the medication that I've been given is actually to help counteract this like crazy anxiety. And all of a sudden, I find myself going like, wait a second. I mean, it's such a tiny, tiny dose, of whatever it is they give me, and I didn't notice anything at all for the longest time. And then suddenly I just found that it was just slightly easier. Everything was just a tiny bit easier. I was still getting anxious, but I wasn't getting this sort of physical anxiety. I used to get like, oh God, like stomach cramps and headaches and shakes and all. So it was awful. So the physical side of it has gone away now. I still feel ridiculously anxious about everything, but it's just it's in my head now. It's not in my entire body, and that's made a huge difference. So, and that will hopefully will help with conventions. Of course, as I get that sorted, we have a pandemic, we do a lockdown, and the conventions stop, of course. But anyways, I appreciate your openness about mental health. We need more people like you. Ben, I think we need less people like me. That's the problem. Yeah, I mean, look, mental health is something. There's a wonderful quote. I can't remember where it's from, where it says, "Madness doesn't run in my family; it positively gallops." And I think, you know, I definitely, well, I think all families have a certain part of this, but certainly we have struggled. Our family has struggled with a lot of this stuff, and I always thought I was the exception. I really did. I thought, oh my God, all these sisters with all their problems. Aren't I lucky that I managed to dodge all that stuff? And the reality was, I was just, it's the usual stuff. I mean, you self-medicate, so you feel intense, you have a drink. You're feeling happy, you have a drink. Used to smoke. Coffee is still a big crutch for me. And it's you don't realize because it's I think we were born we're born and raised to believe that we are who we're born to be. I mean that we are immutable somehow. And the reality is that throughout our lives, I mean, if I met myself when I was 14, actually, it probably wouldn't be probably wouldn't be much different. What am I saying? But the reality is, you probably wouldn't recognize yourself because your perception of who you are has changed as well. So, the mental health stuff, I still struggle with. I'm still embarrassed about it. I don't like talking about it. I feel weird about it. I mean, I'll come away from this conversation and go like, oh God, should I really have brought that up? Um, but I sort of feel now that I'm at a point where I don't want to feel like I have to apologize for that stuff. I don't, I want to. I think it's easier if other people. I wish other actors had said this when I was younger. Then I could have gone, oh, I get it. Oh my God, yeah, no, that's exactly me. That makes sense. I think a lot of actors struggle from this stuff. I think a lot of people struggle from this stuff, and they just don't get to talk about it. I'm very lucky in that. I have a bit of a forum. I mean, this is wonderful for me because I love that we can have these kind of. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not really that much back and forth because I do all the talking, I know, but it is nice to be able to sort of pop in and see the chats and see the comments and things. It makes a big difference. I miss this when I don't do it, and I think this has really helped with the Burn and Learn stuff. I mean, I'm a freaking genius for coming up with it because the idea is that it kind of guilts me into it. I know if I don't do it, and I got to get up here and I'm not going to come up and fake it. I can't. I'm just not that good an actor. If I'm not on here doing a Burn and Learn, then I haven't done a Burn and Learn. So it's kind of a great way of guilting me into it. Oh, Gorilla Danish, you gorilla jerk, eating lunch. Oh, I wish. I'm drinking my coffee and it's got cream in it. How's that? What are you having for lunch? Describe it to me, Gorilla. Dead on. I wouldn't recognize myself at 4. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you change, don't you? I mean, and it's the other thing that I thought was really interesting was bonjour. Émeric, l'étudiant, something studies, student? You're a student of some sort? Something? What is Émeric? What does that mean? I'm trying to look at that. Comment on dit Émeric en anglais? Megan says, I have had a number of traumatic experiences in my life and have suffered from CPTSD. What is that? CPTSD? I don't know that. I know PTSD, but I don't know the C part of it. I continue to suffer with nightmares. Admitting I was suffering was hard, but I feel stronger because of it. Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing is you have to understand what I think there was always a tendency, certainly with my generation, and even more so my parents' generation, didn't talk about this stuff. You didn't talk about it. I mean, we had aunts and uncles with terrible issues, and it was just swept under no one talked about it. Oh, they're having a bad day, whatever, that kind of stuff, Can you name a show you're enjoying right now? We have gone back and we've started watching this fan-freaking-tastic British show called Misfits, which we've seen before. Jan and I have watched them all to death. We freaking love that show. But we sat Baz down like kicking and screaming to get him to watch something with us. Don't be watching this, I am Iron Man. And he begrudgingly sits down to watch this show and freaking loves it. And because it's a brilliant show. So if you haven't watched it, go and watch Misfits. It's an older show now. I mean, some of the effects look a little older because it's been a while. But my God, what a fantastic show. How dare you? I knew he was listening. I knew it. I love Misfits. I know you love Misfits. You do now because I freaking made you watch it, or Mom made you watch it. I guess I suppose. I'm good, Ivan. I'm just 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 doing some bad parenting. Watch the first episode of Mr. Mayor. Oh, okay. All right, I'll check that out. Thank you, Jim the Evo. I vlog my engineer school. What's that? I vlog my engineer school in informatique, and I love your character in SG. Your French voice is wonderful. Ah, merci, mais ce n'est pas ma. Comment on dit voice? What? Comment on dit voice en français? Where's Misfits? I don't know. You'll have to look it up. I'm sorry, I don't know. It's like a British series. I don't know what we watch it on. Hey, Ironham, do you know where we watch? It is voix. Ah, merci, Norm. Voix, c'est voix. Ma voix. Ce n'est pas ma voix en français pour Stargate. C'est une magnifique acteur au France et je meet. Come on, to meet someone. I met him. I met the guy. I met the guy who does my voice, and it's just fantastic. Farscape's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't watched Farscape. I've only watched bits of it, but I just think it looks amazing. I think it was Amazon. It is Amazon Prime. Ah, merci, Ironham. Yes, so it's on Amazon, which is good. Being single, living alone during lockdown sucks. Yeah, smacks them. I can't even imagine. At least I'm considered an essential worker and travel around Alberta. So at least you get out. That's good. Okay. To talk to our customers at a distance. They're sort of yelling at each other, isn't it? It's a bit like sort of screaming across. When we go and see my dad, it's basically just sort of shouting across the driveway because, of course, you don't want to get anywhere near him. I took 2 years in, I took 2 years of French in high school. I can say je ne parle pas français. Ah, mais très bien, Michael. Travelers, I haven't watched Travelers. Do people like Travelers? That was my first day on SG1. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I mean, I give Amanda, I give Amanda credit for McKay because she let me play. She let me be that horrid little McKay that I was able to be, and I think that just made it so much funnier. I mean, it is so difficult as an actor to be able to sort of sit back and play straight man, as the term would be, straight person to the idiot acting like a goof, and she just did such a wonderful job of playing the audience in a way to McKay. Like, yeah, she's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I just think that was, they were the whole. It was like going to a family dinner. And it's like going to a family dinner with people who you don't know terribly well, so you're a little bit nervous, but they're so welcoming because they're all there, to and enjoying each other's company, and it was just it was magical, absolutely magical. First SG1 performance was just absolutely magical. Just loved it. I mean, I had sort of run into some of these actors before, very briefly, sort of in Toronto or at auditions and stuff, but never had a chance to sit down and chat with Amanda like I did on that show, and she's just amazing, absolutely amazing. So there you go. Would you do Stargate again if new season? Yeah, I would. I totally would. I absolutely would. Why? I think I'd be nuts not to, right? I mean, I freaking loved it. The growth of McKay from Marine period to the end. Yeah. What's interesting about the growth of McKay is that, unlike the other characters on Atlantis who had to sort of explain who they were throughout the episodes, I got to almost deconstruct McKay. I mean, I think the writers had a really fun time sort of going like, how on earth do we make this miserable human being a human being? And I just had so much fun with it. You know what I mean? Chelsea, thank you very much. I mean, I was very lucky. I got a. Well, do you remember the Spacey Award? That was gold. Darn, I got the Spacey in my room. It sits. I love that thing. That thing's heavy. That thing is, someone broke into my house, I'd hit him with that. Just saying, Spacey. Oh, that was fantastic. I can't even remember was that where I was running around? That was when, like, wasn't I up against like Jack Bauer on 24 or something? And I was I think very gracious. I think was it. How was it to play Rod and Rodney? Oh my God, a lot of work. Because that back in the day, nice creamy coffee. Oh, really? Yeah. Don't watch. Don't start from the very beginning, Mark. Like as you say, Mark. Start from the very beginning. Um, well, I can't remember what the question was now. What was that a question? I was going to answer one more Stargate question, and I was gonna move on. Rod and Rodney. Rod and Rodney. What's interesting back then, and I think I still to some extent. I mean, the film industry is still trying to catch up with what people can do with little DSLR cameras and stuff now. But that whole Rod and Rodney thing was done with computer controlled cameras. So, in other words, you've seen the old green screen thing where it's like you stand here and then you stand over here and then you put the two together, and as long as you don't cross, you're fine. Well, if you want to do things like crosses and this kind of stuff, you have to have the camera in the same place. And if the camera wants to move, the camera has to move exactly the same way for each pass of, for a Rodney pass and then a Rod pass of the scene. So this camera is incredibly expensive, incredibly huge, and it was at the time. And so and the process was just grueling because you'd have to do the whole scene once as Rodney, and then you have to do the whole scene again. And you're keep in mind you're doing Rodney without the other Rodney there, right? So you're playing Rod to Rodney. There's no one there for that. When we got into close-ups and over the shoulders and all that kind of stuff, then there was a stand-in. And one of the things I asked very specifically was, I said, please get someone who can speak quickly, and is going to know their lines and stuff. And the poor guy who showed up, no one told him, and no one paid him, and no one, I mean, I think they paid him, but he was like, oh, this is great. I got, I just stand around and I'm sort of off camera, lines type thing. He didn't realize that what was needed in this situation was someone who'd learned all the lines, and it just wasn't his thing. So I was, let's just say, in a freaking foul mood the entire time. I was like, you cheaped out on the freaking off-camera guy. And now I remember getting very angry at one point because we'd done a scene and they're like, okay, so, and I'm like, no, we have to do it again. He's talking too slowly. Like I can't slow things down to work with his speed. He needs to speed up to my speed. Anyway, oh God, it was awful. Anyways, so technically very, very difficult, and also difficult because I was in a bad mood. And difficult for everyone around me because I was in a bad mood. But it was really, really fun. I used to believe watching you on YouTube that you must be more Rod in real life. So wrong. Yeah, I think I'm more Rodney. I wish I was more Rod. No, definitely Rodney. I think I'm Rodney. I'm Rodney with a son. I'm Rodney with a son and Jane as his wife because I think they just make me better people. You know what I mean? They make me, uh, I think they make me more worried about the world and more worried about other things than myself. And I mean, one of the things you find, especially first off, as an actor, your job is to be introspective. Your job is to focus on yourself and how you are presented in various different camera angles and scenes and as characters and all this kind of stuff. So you really are. It really, no one becomes an actor because they don't have a certain amount of ego. There's a certain amount of ego involved. I have more than most. I have a weird British humility that goes along with it, but there's definitely an underlying ego there. I mean, I feel like that's a British thing that's hard to explain to people, but I think there's definitely a tendency of like, no. I'm not a genius. There's always sort of an element of like, well, um, you would never admit to it, but yeah, I do think I'm good at acting. I sometimes enjoy my performances, not often to be fair, but so there's definitely an ego there that you think, well, of course people want to watch me. That's what I do, but the problem with that is that it makes it very difficult in relationships. It makes it very different in life. There's a very slippery slope where you can sort of create a bubble around yourself that you are unaware of what's going on in the world and the people around you. And I think that Jane is I was always amazingly good at both supporting and grounding me on a lot of stuff. I've got friends who are very good at that too. You know, and I think that makes a big difference. I mean, that's probably what keeps me from being too McKay. But I definitely the aspects of McKay that I mean, I wish first off, I'm nowhere near as brilliant as McKay. I mean, McKay is obviously he's science fiction brilliant. I'm just I have the same excitement and curiosity I think that McKay has to some extent, where there's technology is fascinating to me, people less so. I think that's, my father used to say that, tall fences make good neighbors. You know what I mean? Like that's my sort of mentality about people in general. I don't seek out people usually, but I think it was talking to James Key the other day, and he was saying he called himself an introvert hermit. He used to call me an extrovert hermit because I would prefer to be at home, but once I'm out, I can put it on. You know what I mean? So again, depending on the mood. Hello, Galind. Good to see you. Toasted Peanut, always been a huge fan of Rodney, right from when we see him on SG1. Really? You liked him back then? Well, you're in the minority, but thank you. Commander Lake. Um, I do remember when Rodney becomes super intelligent. I remember them all. Care to share? What am I going to share? It's already shared. Oh my God, I so hope for a new Stargate series. Wouldn't that be great? It'd be kind of fun. Stargate isn't, McKay isn't curious. He knows. Yes, I think he knows enough to be dangerous, if that makes sense, Gorilla. I think McKay would never admit to curiosity, but I do think that. But I always believed he was. I mean, he loved technology in a way that he struggled to love people, if that makes sense. And I think that that's something that I saw a lot. I saw a lot of. I mean, I worked with a lot of nerds, right? I mean, whenever I used to despair about the film industry, I'd take off and do like IT jobs and stuff. And for one extended stretch, I did IT at a company and worked with a lot of different types of nerds like me. And the thing I discovered was that because of my acting, I had social skills that a lot of these people didn't have. I have social skills a lot of people don't have because I mean, you just don't. Most people don't have to communicate with large amounts of people on a regular basis, and so when I got to play McKay, I got to bring in all of these different types of characters, and there were people I knew who were so good with computers because they were so bad with people. And I think that I think that computers, we often find this, you sit down at a computer to do one little thing and the next thing you know, 4 hours have gone by. I think if you do that on a life scale, I think we can all become McKay pretty quickly. So I mean, I like to think there's a little McKay in everybody and a lot more in me. So, be careful. When anyone says like, I'm just like McKay, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for you. I think Gateship makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you, Firefly. Hey, Firefly. Not a great series. Talking about great science fiction. That was fantastic. Because that was more like, actually, I say that was again more like science fantasy, but just brilliantly done. As a professional ethical hacker, I can confirm this. Tofster, that's cool. I gotta say, I always felt like you know, if there were things if there's things I would like to do, um, if I were to go back and think about the things that I would love to do, if I had to do things instead of acting, I would definitely be in IT, absolutely. But the cybersecurity stuff is absolutely fascinating to me. I absolutely love that stuff. I met a guy in an airport. I can't remember which airport now. And we had a long chat about hacking and stuff, and he was doing it for some corporations who. It was amazing stuff. I mean, all ethical hacking stuff. The ethical hacking thing is just a revelation to me because it's just like all of a sudden, oh my God, you can hack, and it's not against the law, and you don't have to worry about getting caught, and it's just, I mean, it's. There's a course called I think it's Pentester Labs that I started taking, based out of Australia, introduced to me by the Code Cadets, another fabulous sort of tech bandits like group out in Australia. Actually, much better. I mean, they're a part of a school. And they do travels and all sorts of amazing stuff. But they introduced me to this Pentester Labs in Australia, and check them out because basically what it is you go in and in your browser you can watch a video. It tells you how the system works, and then it tells you how you can break in. And you then on a virtual machine, you log in, and attempt to do things like escalate privileges, which is basically saying like you come in as just a regular user and then you try to escalate your access to the system by trying to get root access or some kind of administration access to the system. And it's all designed, it's basically capture the flag. So every little project that you work on, you have to go in and basically steal the flag. And once you've stolen the flag, you take the numbers that you get, the flag being the numbers, a little hashtag. You put the hashtag in the form, and then you've completed that section. And so I think at one point I sat down and did, not in one go, but within a couple of weeks, I'd done 30 of these things. I just found it so, I just freaking loved it, just banging away on these systems, trying to figure out how to get in and stuff. If you ever need a honeypot setup, honeypots, for those of you who don't know, honeypot is like it sounds. It's like a honeypot for hackers. The idea is you go like, banking info, and you put a hard drive on the internet that says banking, or on your own network that says banking information. And then these honeypots will record any attacks that are made on these sort of what seem like high prize network devices. And then in doing so, the hope is that they will attack those honeypots first and will trigger your security alerts, and you'll be able to stop them from getting to the actual stuff that's important. So really interesting stuff. I would love to do a proper Tech Bandits on penetration and testing and stuff. The kids are a bit, I don't know if the kids are the right age for that yet, but I think I would have been. I loved it. There's one of the kids who's expressed interest, which I'm gonna look at. So, what IDS, IPS? I don't even know what that means. Wow. Sean M's already. Sean M's using those. What are the acronyms? What are they called? If you could have been in a movie from the past, which would you have chosen? I would have gone with Star Wars probably. What would I have done? Blade Runner. Oh God, Blade Runner. I freaking love Blade Runner. Mad Max. Oh, I love Mad Max. Movies I would like to have been in. Sneakers. Hackers. What about War Games? Oh my God, any of the John Hughes comedies. God, I did this so many things. I wanted to do everything. I'd have been great. I would have been great. I'd have been a great Jedi. I would probably be more of a Yoda. Blade Runner. Oh, I just loved it. Just loved it. Yeah. And David Hewlett as Boba Fett. Oh my God. Maybe an Emperor. Hack the Planet. Hack the Planet. Indeed. Hack the Planet. So Hack the Planet was the call for the biohack the planet. Was the sort of the call to arms for the biohackers convention I went to in Vegas a couple of years ago, and I cannot wait to go back. I would do that again in a second, and when it happens, I will let everyone know, and you should all go, because if you want to see the bleeding edge, in some cases literally, of bioengineering and biohacking, that is the place to go. That it's put on by the Odin. The Odin, by the way, check this out. This arrived from the Odin. I ordered this the other day. This is my mushroom cultivation kit. This will allow me to, I believe, clone maybe, or propagate. I don't even know what the terms are. But there's a course. So there's an online course about mushrooms and mushroom cultivation, and then this gives you ability to basically, I could go and buy my favorite mushrooms from Loblaws, my local store, and chop them all up, and then gather, I guess, the spores or whatever, and start growing my own ones, because I had so much fun growing the ones that I got for Christmas. I thought, this is it. I'm going full stinky mushroom farm in the basement. My wife's gonna love me. Anyways, so there you go. That's my excitement for. Well, I don't know when, because I've also got this giant beast here. This is the Open Builds CNC machine. Maybe I should just build it here. Maybe I should just build it down here, because I was worried about, if I build it here, if I could actually get it back out again if I need to get it to the garage. But you know what? If I got proper ventilation and a good shop vac system, I've got a window there. I've just noticed that this ceiling is bowing. It's probably not a good sign. So I guess some supports, a window there, a big shop vac system to suck up all the dust. It'll be noisy as all hell, but you know what? I deal with that when I get to it. But yeah, so I've got a bunch of stuff I got to work on. But and now add to that list of cool things to do, I've got a mushroom kit. So where are we at? 34 minutes. Good Lord, I can babble on. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. Okay, I would love to grow mushrooms, but Nicholas Dewar home brewing is good. Oh yeah, home brewing. Yeah, I mean, I wondered about that. I'm not sure when the next Stargate watch party is going to be. Our weekends have just been a bit precious of late because Baz is back at school all week, and because I do tech talks on Saturdays with Barnacles. I've sort of been trying to keep my Sundays to myself. But I'm sure we can work something out. Maybe we even might try to do one during the week or something, or maybe on a Saturday after Barnacles or something. We'll figure something out. But yeah, I've just been honestly just kind of needed my downtime of late. I apologize. I know there's a lot more Stargates to watch, but I also want the kid to want to do it. And I don't want to be nagging him into watching the stuff. I want him to watch it because he's in the right mood and stuff. So not to blame him, but yeah, as I say, I've been sort of struggling to find a Sunday. I just don't want it to feel like there was a couple of times where I was like, oh, hey, we should do a Stargate. And I could just tell Baz was like, I was kind of hoping to, and then I was like, okay, I don't want to push it. So anyway, all right. Watching through Stargate myself, so it would be great. And I'd love to join. Oh, good. Well, then, so what, there's some of them, I think there's some of them on here already. I think I uploaded a bunch of them. But kind enough to share watch parties with us. Oh, thank you, Tammy. No, I love it. They say never met you heroes, but I don't find this disappointing. Yet, Nicholas. Give it some time. Give it some time, Nicholas. I'm sure I can disappoint you soon enough. Yeah, dog's breakfast watch party would be fun. I was thinking about buying a Palette Pro 2S so I can 3D print in color. Oh, cool. Well, I've got the Prusa multi-filament one, and only printed a couple little things in color so far. I'm struggling because I'm trying to. I really want to do the Stargate, a little Stargate for my Stargate camera. But the problem is I need to basically pull out sections of these 3D models so that I can then print them in different colors, because I want so you got the Stargate, the outer chevrons, I want them to be a nice solid looking material. The inner one I want to be a nice slightly translucent material so that the LEDs that I've got behind it will sort of sparkle through. So I need to sort of pull apart this 3D file, and I've started doing it, and then it just became another thing that I couldn't get my head around fast enough. I also have a ton of McKay answering recordings. I've done all of the names that I've been given. I've done them all. I got to figure out how to get all however many freaking names there are edited into the different answering messages. So what I thought I would do is probably just cut and paste them into all of them. So each name would be in a part of each message. So everyone would have 3 choices of McKay answers that they could have. So all right, as somebody who shoot, I hit the wrong button. As someone. Streamer on Twitch, but I needed to take a step back and stop and chill to reset and focus on things. Yeah, I mean, Cool Matrix, this is the thing, is you got to be careful. I mean, you got to be careful with this stuff, because I think you can find, I mean, I found this when I was making YouTube videos, when I was filming and editing YouTube videos, is I found that all of a sudden my entire life I'd be like, oh, I should be filming this. And I feel like you miss out on things. Whereas the thing I like about the live stuff is that you can go, I got time. I've got time. I'm in the right headspace. Let's talk. And it works really, really well. I find I love it. Because if you see me on here, for the most part, other than just complaining about how miserable I am because of the exercise. 2 weeks, freaking 2 weeks. Yeah. Now I stop. Right now I'm fit. I'm done. Right. I can just I just stop. God. So am I gonna try to do this every day, forever? Is that how this works? Oh God. I'm sure I'll have to take a break at some point, but I just felt like 2 weeks it'll become a habit. It doesn't feel like a habit yet, so I'm gonna have to maybe I'll do 2 more weeks and see if that becomes a habit. I feel like if I miss a day, the problem I've always found with exercise is that day off I take, it's okay for the first little while, and then it becomes 2 days off, and then I'm done. and it stops. So, Crazy Nut Denmark, thank you for giving me a nice little paper cut and pouring lemon juice on it. No, we've not got our new SIM cards yet. So the SIM cards, get this, not me, because my phone that I'm using right now has cellular service. Oh, how did that happen when I apparently deactivated all the SIM cards? Well, turns out it wasn't me. The damn Telus screwed up and their SIM card is now active. It wasn't before. So this phone works. But here's the problem. My phone works. Jane's doesn't. I'm the one with the new phone. Jane didn't even change her phone. And I shut it down. So I'm going to blame Telus entirely for it. I'm sure it's not me. But yeah, I called them today actually and said, like, what the hell? My wife's going to kill me. Will you just hurry up and get us these damn SIM cards? So apparently today or tomorrow they should show up. Yeah, that's yeah. Thanks for reminding me about that. Have you considered being a voice for? Oh my God, for Amazon's Alexa, that would be fun. Like you'd go like, "Hello Alexa," and I'd be like, "What? What is it?" Great. I just like actually it's true like completely snarky voice for Alexa. That'd be amazing. How do you do that? You just do your own? Yeah, no. Time to go pick up a dozen donuts. That's what I need, Andrew. That's totally what I need. I wanted to do that. Megan, I don't think it matters. I like the mushroom. I didn't get any specific mushrooms. I think well, we'll see I'm sure they did give us some mushrooms. Um, can you really do that? Like, can you record an Amazon voice? And that would be amazing, actually. That'd be really fun. I can just add new things all the time. I would so use that for Alexa or Google's version. Well, if anyone's got any information on that, on how to do it, um, let me know. Send me a link. Send me a link. I'm sure I did. I'd love to activate mine. I unplugged mine because I got so sick and tired of it disconnecting from our network and claiming it couldn't connect again. So um, they partnered with some actors. Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that because that would be kind of fun. Look, I love that. I mean, they get old films from the 1850s and 1900s in and put them through AI and 4K reconstructions. Oh yeah, that's amazing. I've seen that. That's awesome. Um, yes, you can by programming your voice with Arduino. Really? Um, please do. All right, fine. I'll look into it. I'll look into it. Fine. Uh, yeah, but Samuel L. Jackson. That is a voice to have. I used to. What was it? I had on the Garmin. I had this like Garmin GPS thing back in the Stargate days. Actually, no, it was actually post Stargate days. I bought it in the tail end of Stargate because I used to get lost all the time, especially when we went and shot out in the woods. I got lost all the time. I was calling Jane. I used to call Jane Sexy Google because I would call Jane and say, "Google where I am. Google where." I'd say, there's a tree and there's a pine cone over there, and I'm right in between the two of them. Look it up on the map. Um, I do love the idea of like playing with that. I mean, I got my Alexa to move my Lego. I got my Lego Storm. I connected Lego Storm to Alexa, and then you could actually get it to let my Lego Storm would roll back and forth depending on what you told it. But it was really complicated. I was doing it for the kids, of course, because it wasn't for me. Why would I enjoy something like that? I was doing it for the kids, and I just felt like this is too complicated. It's too clunky. There's better ways of doing this. Do you ever think Expanse will continue after the sixth season? God, I hope so. I mean, it's a beautiful looking show. I haven't watched all six seasons of them, but isn't like Bezos and his son are big fans of that show? Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that why they saved it? Mm-hmm. Wait, what? Cal, what are you doing over here? This isn't your world. I am God here. You can't. What are you doing on the damn stream, Cal? Well, that's it. That's the sign of the apocalypse right there. Um, you can do Stargate sounds on Alexa. I did not know that. Okay, I'll have to look that up. You can have his voice. Not sure if you can get things read in his. Poor Jane. It's so true, Tammy. I would apologize. I remember Mr. T's voice. I worked with Mr. T, Andrew. I did, and I worked with Mr. T, I think a couple of times. Yes, twice. I worked with Mr. T twice. Once I had a knife fight with Mr. T. I was this tiny little scrawny guy with like blonde, like bleached blonde hair. And I had a fight scene with Mr. T, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world because I was like, what am I, like they would do things like they'd cut to a close-up of me and of my knife hand going like this. So it looked like I was like really good with a knife. It was on a show called T&T, and it was like, Mr. T solves crimes. And I remember him like we were waiting for like a scene one day, and And he said, you got a bank account? I was like, yeah, I do have a bank account. And he goes, yeah, you should have a bank account. You gotta buy your money. Your money should be in gold. And he's like, I put the change. I got a box of gold. I put it in my bed. And I was like, really? You don't have? He's like, I don't believe in banks. I don't believe. So he didn't believe in banks. All of that gold was like, it was because that was something he could have, he could hold. He grew up like with nothing and was like, this was his banking system. But I just thought that was really fun. I loved him. I thought he was fantastic. And then I think I came back again on that show as some kind of like a punk that ran like a dance club and we got beaten up or something. I can't remember what it was. I didn't remember, but it's called TNT. Someone should look it up. You'll see a very, very young Hewlett. Young, thin, fit Hewlett. I hate him already. So there you go. Yeah, I have the dubious honor of fighting and of course losing a knife fight with Mr. T. Have you watched Kiss the Ground documentary? It's a serious must watch. Everyone watch it if you have Netflix. Really, what's it about, Megan? Hello, Cal saying hi to everybody. Cal, just get your own channel for God's sake. I mean, come on. Did you guys sing on set and Jason Momoa played the guitar? I would mockingly sing along. Here's the thing that I feel is very unfair, is that Momoa can play guitar now. I imagine quite proficiently. But I'm the one who had to listen to him learn that. Because the whole time on Stargate, that's when he started bringing his stupid guitar in and learning how to play his dumb rock and roll stuff. And oh my God, it used to drive me crazy. But talented little jerk he is. I have started playing guitar though recently. I actually, a friend of mine bought me a guitar and said, you should play guitar. And I was like, oh, don't be silly, hippie. And then like all good ideas, like 10 years later, I went, hey, a guitar, I should try this. And now that there's all these apps and, there was a pandemic and I couldn't, I'd run out of ways of annoying my family. So I thought, great, guitar, what better way than to ruin every song they've ever loved? So that's sort of been my approach to guitar of late. And I find it quite relaxing, actually. Every so often I'll just go, I mean, I can't feel my fingers anymore. My fingers have those horrible, like yellowy, like calluses on them. Look at those, but it sure makes for easier playing a guitar. I don't know how to do anything complicated. I just know like a bunch of chords now. That's it. What do we got? Have you seen the news starring Jason Momoa from Apple? It's called See. It's really good. Thank you, Jay. I'm glad to know you like that show. I will say nothing else. Hey, David, modified. David, and anyone else who likes Arduino, have you seen? Oh, I know the Pi Pico modified. Dual core 26G. Those are like I/O pins. Is that what 26 of them? 3 analog pins, built-in clock, temp humidity sensor. I'm in. No, I know. I've been looking at it. It just looks amazing. But it's like an Arduino style Raspberry Pi, right? It's not actually a Raspberry Pi, right? I mean, it's built by Raspberry Pi, but isn't it? It's not like it's not running Linux or anything, is it? The Pico. I know Pico. Right. Okay. Cool Matrix should head off. So should I, actually. Need coffee and not so fun stuff to do. Ugh, that sucks. Me too. Have an amazing stream, buddy. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm rolling. I'm rolling out now. I should make a Stargate themed D&D game. Chris, dude, what are you talking? Or whoever. There's a freaking RPG game for Stargate. Go to Wyvern Gaming. They've got an RPG game. It's freaking great. And they've designed it so that each one is like an episode. So you're basically creating your own episodes of Stargate as you play. We have played. James Gurney, Jim the Evo, who's on here earlier. I don't know if he's still here. He dungeon mastered a couple of them. They're freaking great. I really enjoyed them. My problem, I don't know enough about Stargate. That's my biggest problem. Is that I don't like half the races and stuff. It's all like season 6 SG1, and I only showed up like around. No, it must be before I showed up. So it's not Atlantis. It's just SG1, but it's really, really fun. Honestly, I was saying, like, people are saying, like, when's the show coming back? I don't know. I get asked that every day, and I don't know. I would love it to, but obviously, but I don't know. So in the meantime, go make some fan fiction stuff. Go write some fan fiction. Go make some fan fiction movies. Figure out how to do some of those effects. Grab some of all those amazing, Adobe After Effects things and make some stuff. Do some props, build some props. All of these things are skills that will help you that when the show comes back, you can get a job. You can get a job doing it. And the RPG game is just a great way to sort of re-immerse yourself in it, and it's really fun. And I gotta say, and I think the way that Wyvern's put it together as episodic is really smart. It's one of the few things I think that one of the few merchandising game aspects that MGM haven't screwed up on with Stargate. So, um, soil health. Okay, Megan, I will definitely look at that because you know what, mushrooms. I just want a good 24-hour solo co-op Stargate game like Marvel Spider-Man. I know, wouldn't that be awesome? That would be so amazing. No need to hunt it down. It's go to Wyvern Gaming, and they've got and they'll have it on. Join David's new Writing Bandit stream and learn how to let your. Oh, that's a good point, Tammy. Yeah, that's true. I haven't really talked about fan fiction. I'd love to talk to someone about fan fiction actually, because I mean that's something that I don't entirely understand. So maybe we should get some of that in the Writing Bandits as well. All right, I'm out of here. I've been talking for way too long. I'm gonna get unfit again. I have to go exercise again. It's been so long, and plus my coffee's getting cold, and cold coffee with cream, not so good. Actually, it is kind of good. Now I say that. Delicious. Okay, I've got a Game Bandits tonight at 4 p.m. There's some neat stuff. I will go and dig up what I was researching last night for them, and I'll put a link so that people can see the sort of the show notes, for want of a better word. There's some fun stuff to look at, some really inspiring stuff. Footballer who's turned, who's gone from the Super Bowl to working in a long-term care facility in Montreal. Amazing guy. I would say from Super Bowl to superhero, I would say. And some VR stuff that's really neat. Brain-computer controlled VR. Can you imagine? Add brain-computer interface to the VR experience, and we're talking Matrix. Well, that's what Valve is working on right now. So I'm going to talk about that with the kids. So that'll be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to thetechbandits.com. Check out what we're doing. I'm going to do some work on that site today as well. I want to start moving some things around and making things a little better to access all of the stuff that's going on. I got some videos to move around. Really excited to dive into that. I love the whole web stuff as well. So, all right. So I will say, be safe, be kind, be brilliant, and until we geek again, cheerio and huzzah!